Here we go. All righty. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to yoga. You know what? I think let's go ahead and start by laying down based on some pre-class conversations. Let's start laying down, but grab your strap and have it nearby. And maybe when you lay down, keep the knees bent, take the feet wide, draw the knees towards center. And just pause for a moment here and feel your back body on the mat. Maybe both hands rest on the front of your hips. And you just get a sense of where those hips are in space, if they feel even or if they feel a little crooked. Maybe you shift your hips a little bit. And where your feet are is up to you. You could walk them out just a little bit to relax the front of the hips, the psoas muscle. And then snuggle your shoulders into the yoga mat. Let your elbows be heavy on the floor. And take some nice deep breaths in through your nose. Exhale very gently through your mouth. And again, inhaling and exhaling. Just breathe here. Starting to let go of whatever was happening this morning, whatever's going to happen later, starting to let go of everything except for this present moment. And maybe you feel your hips on the floor. Maybe you can tap into your feet. Maybe you spread out through your toes, even though your legs are wide. A few more breaths right here. And then release the hands from the hips and maybe come out to a cactus pose with your arms. The elbows coming straight out from your shoulders. Keep the feet wide, but separate the knees and very gently just start to rock the knees to one side and then the other side. Just starting to warm up a little bit through the hips and the legs. And notice as you roll to one side, the shoulders move as well. Just warming up. And the next time your knees are over to the right, just pause for a second here. Allow the knees to be heavy. There should be no pain here at all. And reach from, with the knees to the right, reach the left arm overhead. And feel from your left knee to your left fingertips a nice stretch here. Big deep breath. Good. Release the left arm back. Take the knees up. Allow them to go over to your left. Pause. Just check it out on this side. What's happening? You can always adjust the legs or the knees so that if you're feeling any discomfort, you can just shift out a little bit, change the angles. And then the right arm goes overhead and you feel the stretch from your right knee to your right fingertips. All the while taking nice deep breaths, all the while stretching through your body. And then release your right arm, release both legs, bring them both back to center. Your feet come to hips width apart. Grab your strap, take it around your left foot, and take that left leg up to the ceiling. Now, depending on your hamstrings, depending on how straight your left leg is right now, if it's pretty straight and your hamstrings are pretty open, generally speaking, go ahead and straighten your right leg and let it come to the floor. If you straighten your right leg and your left knee bends a bunch, then rebend your knee and keep your foot on the floor. And then feel this nice little stretch of your left leg. And then with the strap in your left hand, just let the left leg be like a little metronome, right? It's just going to go out to the side and back across. And it's slow, right? It's slow, it's controlled. You're just stretching out through the adductors and the abductors, right? The inside outside of your legs. Just warming up through your hips. Good. One more here. And the next time the leg is coming across your body, hold the strap with your right hand and allow that leg to come over maybe about halfway. Maybe not quite that far, but don't go further, right? We tend to want to go right to the floor here. And instead, I want to get a nice stretch for that outer hip. Find your breath, everybody. And then take the leg up to center, bend your right foot, bend your left knee, release, and switch sides. So same thing on this side, just judge for yourself where your hammies are today. Where's those hamstrings? If you're super tight, keep the left knee bent. And if you feel pretty open, go ahead and straighten the leg. And just marvel, right? Every time we do yoga class, we stretch out these hips, we stretch out these legs, and there they go getting tight all over again. It's like, what the heck? And then same thing on this side, the strap is in your right hand, and you're just slowly going side to side with your leg. Just checking it out. For me, my right side is always tighter than my left, so I can feel this a little bit more. I'm going to be very mindful of the stretches, especially early in class. Always, always. Good. Next time that leg comes over and across, hold the strap with your left hand and just pause. Holy moly, I feel that all the way to my foot. Find your breath. Notice, notice. Big deep breath, everybody. And take that leg up. Bend your knee, let that foot come back to the floor, and release the strap from your right foot, both feet to the floor. Take your left leg back up, this time no straps, and ideally no hands. Keep your right knee bent this time. I want you to go straight down toward the floor with your right leg, point your toes, and reach straight back up. Flex your foot, lower it down, point your toes and lift up. Good. Two more right here. Just down to the floor. Point as you lift up. Last one. Big deep breath. Lift up, lift up, lift up. And then bring that left knee to your chest. Hold the knee in straight in your right leg. We did this a little bit in last class, not Friday, but Wednesday. Either hold that knee in and stay there or release the hands and keep the knee where it is. So working with the psoas muscle, find your breath here. You still feel good. I want you to lift the right foot off the floor. What do you got to do in order to make that happen? You got to squeeze the heck out of your little belly, right? Ooh, a little bit of core work. Good. Lower your right leg, straighten your left leg up to the ceiling, and then release that foot to the floor. Bring your right knee to your chest. Hold that knee in, straighten the leg up toward the ceiling, and breathe. Keep your left foot on the floor. As you exhale, flexed foot all the way down to the floor. Point your toes, lift up. And exhale, flex. Good. Inhale, lift it up. Two more. Flex it down. Point, lift it up. Last one. Big flex here, warming those ankles. And point, lift it up. Hold it right there. Bring that knee to chest, straighten out your left leg, let it come all the way to the floor. And once you tone that belly a little bit, let go of the right leg, use the muscle itself to hold that leg in place. And if you still feel okay, lift the left foot off the floor just for a moment or two. Woo, feel how much that engages your belly here. Big deep breath. Good. Release, bend your left foot, let that come to the floor, release your right leg. Bring both knees to chest. We're almost done there. Take your left leg up to the ceiling. Your hands, if your low back is chatty, go underneath your sacrum. Otherwise, they press down to the floor. Press your right leg straight out toward the edge of your mat. Yep, big deep breath. If this is super hard, then your left leg stays bent, right? Because we're working with the hamstrings, working with your core. Squeeze your belly, take the right leg up. Exhale, lower the left leg. That's it. Find your breath. Don't let that leg come all the way to the floor. See if you can hover it. See if you can squeeze the glute muscles a little bit. Take the left leg up. Exhale, lower that right leg until it's a few inches off the floor. 1, you're going to stay here. 2, you're going to reach for that right foot, taking the head, neck, chest up as you reach those fingertips toward the foot. Everybody breathe. Good. Lower your upper body. Press those hands into the floor. Lift your leg. Last one, left side. Lower the left side. Fire up the legs, everybody. Find your breath. Either stay here or reach for the left foot. That's it. Find your breath. Squeeze the legs. You got this. Lower your upper body. Lift the legs up to the ceiling. Everybody take your hands underneath your sacrum and then just simply point, flex both feet. Good. And then circle the ankles. And circle the other way. And then bend both knees, bring them both into chest, roll over to one side and come on up. Beautiful. All right, have the blocks toward the front of your mat and come to table pose. Now, you know for you, right, if you need something underneath your knees, plant your feet. You don't need your strap right now, so that can be out of the way. Tone the belly in, lower down to your elbows, interlace your hands softly, press your right leg back. I want you to flex your foot as you lift, watch the lower back, and then point your toes as you lower. Good, flex as you lift, same side, and lower. Flex and lift. Feel the glutes, right? Point and lower. One more here, flex and lift, hold the lift. Bend your knee, bring your heel to your glute, firing up those hamstrings a little, and let's do 5 of those. So bend and straighten. Good, bend, belly's toned, straighten. And 3, and 4, you got it. And 5, point your toes, lower those toes to the floor, release your knee. When you're ready, switch sides. So that left leg goes out, flex as you lift, squeeze. Notice if you dump into your low back, right? And then point and lower. Good, flex and lift and lower. 3 more, reach and lower, flex, lift and lower. Good, this one we hold. So flex the foot, lift that leg, tone the belly, level out your hips, and bend and straighten that knee for 5. 1 and 2. Don't collapse in your shoulders. 3 and 4. You're almost there. And 5. Good. Point your toes. Lower and release. Make sure those knees are hips width apart. Press your right leg back. Tone the belly, lift the leg. Release the hands so that the arms are in Sphinx pose. And then press into your forearms, everybody. Really squeeze. 1, you're staying here. 2, you're going to spider crawl your fingers out of your left hand out in front of you. Variation of balancing table. We've done this one before. Still feel good. Lift that left hand off the floor or take the left arm back behind you. That's it. Everybody breathe. 5, 4, 3. Squeeze that butt. 2 and 1. Release the left hand. Release the right knee. Maybe press back into those hips a little bit. And then come right back up. You're back down on elbows. Your hands are shoulders width apart. Press back through the left leg. Squeeze in through your belly, lift the leg. Right? Feel that glute. Feel the energy in the hip here. One, you're here, right? You're pressing out. Don't let the chest sink down to the floor. Or spider walk those fingers the right side out in front. Press into the fingertips. Feel that. Feel the whole belly working. Or lift the hand. Woo. Or reach the hand back beside you. You got it. Keep working the leg though. Don't forget. And release that hand. Release that leg. Nice job, everybody. From this position, I want you to push up into your hands. Your hands are going to be in front of you, in front of your shoulders. And then drop the elbows. Don't let them splay. And lift up. So a little bit of tricep work. Don't let the elbows go out to the side. Push up and down. Push up. You got it. Keep it going. You're going to feel these surprisingly quickly. Don't move the hands. Keep the elbows training towards center. Come on. Stay with me. Are you there? I see some slowdown happening. Breathe. And 5 and 4. Whew. And 3. Triceps. And 2. And 1. Drop down those elbows. Plant those hands. Last one here. Press the feet back. Elbow plank. Right? Whatever it is we're doing in class, we always do good warm up. So press into the hands, right? Feel the body working. Imagine you could drag those elbows away from each other. Woo. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees, lower the hips. You're now in Sphinx pose and just rock a little bit side to side. And not so bad as far as warm-ups go, right? Just breathe. And then come right back to center. Drop down, hands come under shoulders. Press up, downward facing dog. And then pedal out your feet. Find your breath. That's it. Shake it out, everybody. And then lower your knees to the floor and step forward with your right foot. Grab a hold of your blocks and let your hands rest on your blocks. Any height is whatever's good for you. And feel your belly tone, feel your chest start to lift. If you can, flip your toes under, but don't lift the knee. I want you to press the heel back. What are we doing? We're actually stretching the back of the foot, right? So we're going to play with balance today. And one of the challenges to balance is what is happening with your feet, right? So we want to make sure we get this nice stretch of the feet as our foundation. So from here, squeeze your left hip. Start to lift your left knee, but push back through the heel really tight. And then lower it down again. Now, if this is killing your feet, just release each time and let the toes relax. And then flip them over again if you can. Lift up slow, press back through the heel. And then release. One more, easy stuff, right? We're just going from low lunge to high lunge. If you can, hold the high lunge this time. Leave your left hand on your block and take the right arm up. And breathe, little twist. Keep the legs scissoring toward each other, right? Don't overstress through the head, the neck. Find your breath. Reach the right arm forward, circle it down, and bring it up. Your left knee can be down, by the way. Take that right arm down, circle, and lift up. One more here. Bring it down and circle. And then release that hand to your block. Lower your knee to the floor. Release your back toes and slide your right leg back. Once you're ready, slide the left leg forward. Same thing, other side. Just flip the toes under and try to feel as much of all of your toes as you can. Right? And just notice that. And then it's a really purposeful kind of focus on those toes. If you can, slowly lower or lift the right knee as you press the right heel back. And then slowly lower down. Remember to release if you need to. And do it again. Press through, press back, and lower. Good. Last one here. Press it through. Hold it here or lower your knee back to the floor. Right hand stays on the block. Lift the left arm up and breathe. And then 3 times, circle that arm forward, down to the floor and back. Open up your chest, shoulders. Roll it back and down. Last one, roll it forward, back. Hold it up for a moment. Hold that sweet little twist. And then lower your hands to your block. Lower your right knee. Bring your left leg back. Maybe squeeze back a little bit. Just a nice stretch for that upper body. And then come on up. No rest for the weary. None. Bring your right leg forward. Oh, everybody find your breath. Nice stretch for that left psoas, right? And then with your front foot, I just want you to lift all your toes off the floor and then press them down. Good. Lift them up again and press down. Good. One more time. Lift them up. This time, hold it up. And I want you to feel the 4 corners. Let me move that block out of the way. 4 corners of your feet, right? The big toe, pinky toe mound, the heel, and feel that. Now, dig into that 4 corners. Dig into those 4 corners. Flip your left side toes under. Lift your knee, but instead of focusing on the back leg, I want you to focus on the front foot. Okay, I hope that makes sense for you. And then lower the knee. You can keep both hands on your blocks. Good. Push into your front leg and lower. One more time. Push, push, push. Like really, as if you could dent right through the yoga mat by pressing that foot that hard into it. And then lift that right arm up again. Come into a nice, sweet little twist. Notice your front knee. Make sure it's not rolling out or rolling in. Find that breath and exhale. Release, lower your knee to the floor and switch sides. Take your left foot forward. Nice, easy lunge here, right? No big deal. You can always keep that one knee down. And then lift all your front toes. Spread them out. See if you can get space between every single one. And lower them down. Good. Lift them up. Lower them down. One more here. Lift them up. Find the 4 corners. Make sure the inner line of that foot is super long. Keep that. Flip your toes under optionally. Lift, but you're lifting by pushing into your front foot, not the back. And lower. So dig in right there. And lower. Good. One more. You're a little narrow there, Betty. Lift up. Once you're lifted, hold, tone that belly, lift the left arm, squeeze the right glute to keep that back foot active. And exhale, release. Good. Listen up here. Push off your back foot and step forward. You can move your blocks forward. Keep your hands on your blocks. Oh, soft, soft knees. Shake out the hips side to side. And breathe. And then bend your knees. Take your hands to your knees and come on up to standing. Good. Roll it out, everybody. And then feel those 4 corners again, because all balance, right, comes from here, right? It comes from the foundation that we create with our feet. So once again, just look at your feet, lift all your toes, try to find the 4 corners. Do you tend to roll in? Do you tend to roll out? Where is it for you? And then lower the big toes only. Keep the other 4 toes lifted if you can. Keep them spreading. Keep those pinky toes spreading out to the sides. And lower the rest of the toes. And then press both legs away from each other isometrically. We did a little bit of this work a couple of classes ago. If you isometrically press out, what do you feel? Right? You feel all this stuff happening. The knees are soft. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, nice forward fold. Your hands can go to the floor or to your blocks. Either one is okay. Now, bend your knees. And imagine you just put a couple of pound weights on your feet. So keep that weight in the feet. Hands come to your knees. Lift your chest. And then curl your tailbone and come to chair pose. Now, try to pull the legs apart from each other. Try to pull the feet apart from each other and breathe. Chair pose, right? Now, I want you to feel the grounding of your feet. I want you to, that's where I want you focused. Breathe. You can even lift your toes off the floor. What happens if you press your behind back? I'll turn sideways here. So, right? So, where is our balance here? If we go too far, we'll fall back, right? We don't want to do that. We don't want to be too far forward. We want the four corners of the feet. So, release the toes. Inhale, stand all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. Release. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, nice forward fold. Press the feet and legs away from each other. Bend your knees. Hands come to your knees. It's a dual action here. The chest lifts, the tailbone lengthens. You take the hands up. Now, if it hurts your shoulders to have the hands up, don't do that. They can come forward or they can just come right to your heart or to your hips, right? Don't have to have the hands up to get the action of the legs. Press the legs away from each other. Maybe you bend a little more, maybe not. Make sure you feel your big toe mound, your pinky toe mound, the both corners of your heels. Breathe and stand up. Exhale your hands to your heart. Last one, I promise. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees. Lengthen your tailbone. Take the hands to the heart. Find your nice chair pose. Nice length through your tailbone and breathe. Hands stay down this time. All I want you to do is lean into your right foot and lift your left heel and lower it down. Lean into your left foot, lift your right heel. Whoo, and lower down. If you're getting tired, just come on out. Lean into your right foot, lift your left heel. Now, focus on something right in front of you. Squeeze your belly, see if you can lift your left leg. Lower it down, lower the heel, back to chair pose. Lean into your left leg, lift your right heel. You might just stay right here or see if you can lift. Keep both knees bent. Lower down and stand up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Whew, shake it out, everybody. Good job. And then turn sideways. So nice wide leg pose. Your feet are slightly angled out. You know, you can always be near wall if you need to. Your hands come to your heart. And I just want you to come into an easy wide leg squat. Just easy. Don't go super deep, even if you're like, da, 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 right? Even if you're there this morning, just see how it feels. And then check the knees, right? Tendency is those knees will roll in. So I want you to press from the inner groin to the inner knee away, right? So that we use those back hips and back glute muscles to hold our pose. And guess where we're going again? Let's take a look at the feet. Spread the toes, spread the feet, make the feet long. Anybody else notice their feet have gotten longer? Right? The size I was when I was 20, my shoe size is not the size I am now. What's happening? Good. So I want you to see if you can lift all your toes. Now, here's an interesting thing about falls. If you look down at your feet, you could fall much easier than if you look out in front of you. So even though you're lifting your toes, if you need to take a quick glance, but you should feel that, and then look out forward, don't look down, and breathe. Some of you are going to be able to squat a little bit more. Make sure you're not rolling to the inside of your feet. Big deep breath, really strengthening the legs here. And then stand those feet up and release your toes. Good, heel toe in, just one. Keep the toes out to the sides. I want you to see if you can lift your heels. More balance work here. Maybe you got a wall in front of you. Maybe you got something you can put a finger on. Try not to lean forward. Breathe. Some of you are going to squat a little deeper. Woo! right? What's happening, everybody? And lift up, lower the heels, heel toe those feet in, and notice how that felt. Shake it out. Good. Let's come right back to the front of your mat. All right. Inhale, reach up. Exhale all the way down. Soften the knees, step back with your right leg. Soon as you do that, widen that left foot out just a little bit toward the left side. Keep a nice bend in your front knee. You can lower your back knee if you want. And then inhale, reach up and breathe. Right, so where do we go from here? If your knee is up, I want you to bend your back knee a little bit. This is harder, so be mindful. Think about it. If your knee is down, I want you to try to drag your front heel back toward your knee. Big deep breath. Good. Inhale, reach the arms up, straighten your back leg. Exhale, come on down. Either transition, just switch sides, or downward facing dog, and then your right leg forward. Soon as you step that right leg forward, go slightly wider, just slightly. And then either hands to knees or use your core. Come on up. Make sure your back foot is relatively straight. Find your breath. Take your hands to your heart. Bend your back knee. Right? All kinds of things want to happen when you do that. Chest has to stay lifted, right? You're squeezing the hips, legs toward each other. You're working with muscle strength here. And then press back out through the legs. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. You can also do child's pose, especially if knee is down. Find your breath. Good. When you're ready, left foot forward. This time, grab your blocks and drop your back foot to the side position. Soon as you do that, notice if your left knee rolls to the middle as well. Heavy in your front foot, right? Normally we try to go 50-50, but this time I really want you to weight the front foot. Take your left hand to your left knee. Come on up. Warrior two. Lift your front heel off the floor. Who's not feeling this quad? You're not feeling this quad, but I know you're feeling your quad, right? And breathe. Good. Lower the heel, straight in the front leg. Lift your toes and breathe. Lower the toes. Come on down. Triangle pose. Take your back hand to your back hip to start. Triangle pose. I would take your left hand block high and to the outside of your ankle. Let your hand rest on that, and then take the hand back up. Good. Breathe, everybody. How's that front leg feeling? Are you grounding the front foot? Right? And then press into the back foot. Big deep breath. Good. As you release, take the arms up. Bend your front leg. Turn yourself toward the front of your mat. Transition your back heel. Just watch your blocks here. You can have hands on blocks as long as they're low. Step back, down dog. Shake out those legs. Step forward, right leg. Maybe you go a little wider than your normal. Once you're here, turn your back foot to the side position. Watch that front knee, right? As soon as I did that, my front knee rolled into the middle a little bit. So instead, I'm going to really strengthen this front arch so that my knee stays in place. Good. Press up to lift up. Here we are again. Your front leg is weighted. Lift your heel. Woo. Big deep breath. Make the front thigh heavy, right? Heavy as in you're using that baby to hold yourself in place. And then lower that heel, straighten the leg, lift your toes off the floor. It's really your whole foot except for the heel. And breathe. And then lower that foot. Take the back hand to your hip. Maybe you use your block here for triangle pose, opening up your side body. Take your left arm up and breathe. How's that pose feel? Right now, I am digging into my front foot. I've got my toes lifted off the floor just so my knee doesn't hyperextend. And then squeeze into your belly, lift up, bend your front knee, turn yourself toward the front of your mat, transition your back foot, and push up forward. Good. Hold on to one of your blocks and come up to standing. Good. Roll it out, everybody. Shake it out, roll it out. Now, this next thing we're going to do, you might want to be near a wall space. You're going to set the block down on your mat long ways, right? So that when you stand next to it, the block is to the outside of your right foot, ideally. If you're the other way because you want to watch your camera, don't worry about it. Your hands come to your hips. Look at your block. Put your foot on it, and then stand up, and then stand down. Keep that foot on your block. Lift up and down. Make sure your foot is pretty solid on that. Now, the other option, instead of lifting your left foot all the way off the floor, is to just tap up to your big toe, right? More stabilizing, and then back down. So these are kind of single leg squats, right? And down, good. Lift up and down. 3 more, lift up. When you lift up, squeeze up, like feel yourself draw out of your block. And last one, see if you can hold. Flex your other foot. Find your still spot in front of you. Remember, if you look down at your foot, you're going down, right? You're going down, baby. Breathe, belly squeeze. Some of you are going to be able to take those arms up. Yep, that right leg getting a whole bunch of work here. Hands come to your hips and lower down. Good. Nice job, everybody. Shake it out. Switch sides. Start by looking at your block, at your foot. Make sure your foot is squared and steady on that block. And then just see how you are. Maybe you stay with the toe down, right? Lift up and down. So I see a lot of times, especially with older people, that when they start to get unsteady, the answer that they think is correct is to look down at the ground. My stepdad used to do that so that he could see where he was walking. And inevitably, he would trip on something. So when we're walking, we can use our eyes to look down, but not our heads, right? Does that make sense to you? Because that big bowling ball of a head just throws our center of gravity forward. Good. I hope you're still lifting and lowering with me. And I'm not just doing it all by myself. Good. This next one, hold. Find your still spot. Flex your other foot. Pretend you're standing on 2 blocks, whoop, instead of 1. Breathe. Maybe the arms come up. Balance work today. Whew. Breathe. That's it. Hands to heart. Lower down and relax. Switch sides. The other option, now they didn't say this, but if you feel you're just not loving this at all and you want to use 2 blocks side by side so you have a bigger base, or maybe your feet are just really big and you want a little bit more surface under you, you can set 2 blocks side by side. Just make sure the seam of those blocks is through the center of your feet and not where it would make a trip hazard. I think that makes sense to everybody. All right, so right foot on the block. Lift up, hands to hips. Lift your left leg if you can, or big toe to the floor. Now I want you to bend your right knee and hold. There should be no pain. And just watch and marvel at the wobbling of your right leg to try to find equilibrium, right? Most of us are stepping on blocks that are soft. And so our bodies have to really fight to feel balance. It'd be similar to doing balance work on a foam, or rubber pad. Breathe. Good. Stand all the way up. Release down. Switch sides. Make sure your foot is on your block, pretty centered. Lift up, squeeze up, find your breath. Remember, big toe on the floor is perfect. Bend the standing leg, whoo, and you can tell pretty darn quick, right? My left leg is going to wobbling a whole lot more because it doesn't have the same muscle strength as my right leg, I'm guessing. So we breathe, try not to over grip the toes. Mine are kind of curling around the top edge of my block going, hang on. Breathe. Straighten the leg. Release, let go. Good, set your block aside. You're gonna transition again to the right leg. That's this outside leg for me. I want you to bend both knees. So you're kind of in a high, almost a high chair pose. Peel your left heel off the floor, squeeze your belly, peel your right or your left foot off the floor completely. And then see if you can press back into your hips more. So it's as if you were gonna sit back in a high chair or something. Breathe, right? So now what's happening? That standing leg is having to find the center of gravity. Your hands can be at your heart, they can be on your hips. Find your breath, stand up, release. Woo. Right? Some serious work there. All right, other side. This is all gonna make sense someday. You're on your left leg, squeeze that leg in, peel your right heel off the floor, maybe peel your whole right foot off the floor, check out what's happening, right? And then press the hips back a little bit more. Use your breath. Yep, where can you find the balance point on that left leg with the hips reaching back as the chest stays pretty much forward? And come on up. Nice job, everybody. Shake it out. All right, back to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands all the way down. Whew. Right, forward fold feels good after all that. Soften the knees, step back, right leg. Find your breath here. Keep your right hand on the floor or on a block. I didn't cue that, so sorry about that. Take the left arm up and breathe. 1, you're gonna stay here. 2, you're gonna squeeze the heck out of your belly. And as if someone is pulling your left hand back behind you, you're gonna lift both arms. And breathe. And then once you're there, right, once you're feeling this little twist, you're gonna slowly come on back down. Release your left hand to the floor. Step back. Breathe. Step forward, right leg. Make sure your poses are wide enough, right? When we step forward back, we can go narrow. Your left hand on a block or your left hand on the floor. Take the right arm up. Where does this work have to come from, right? Press into your front leg. Feel your front hip already engaged. Squeeze your belly. See if you can lift your torso. Yep, breathe, squeeze the legs toward each other. And then slowly release. Both hands down, step back downward facing dog. Shake out those lovely legs. Step forward, left leg. Now, I want you to take your left foot toward the edge of your mat. And I want you to take the right foot toward the other edge of your mat. So we are super wide, right? Really tone the belly, but lift the sit bones and inhale and press up and breathe. And notice how that changed your pose. Did that feel more steady for you? Breathe. Take your hands to your hips. Here's the hard part. From this wide pose, push off your back foot, and step forward. Now we're in like that Superman, right? Superwoman pose. We're like, oh, good. You're gonna switch sides. So hands to the floor. Step back, left leg. Take your right foot to the right edge. Take your left foot toward the left edge. Your knees are bent. Squeeze your belly. Remember, you can transition through your knee, hands to knee, and inhale, reach up and breathe. Find your breath. Notice that pose. Take your hands to your heart. Push off to step forward and release. Nice. Go sideways again, right? So what's happening? Why are we doing all this crazy work? If you're gonna fall, chances are you are not gonna fall standing still, right? So we can do all the balance work we want, but if we're always standing still, we're not gonna give our muscles the chance to figure out what happens when we're moving, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so your hands are to your hips, step sideways and bring the foot with you. Step to the middle, step to the other side. So easy so far, right? You're just doing 2 steps one way, 2 steps the other way, and then start to bounce those knees, right? You can use your hands, you can keep your hands at your hips. You're just finding movement, rhythm. Rhythm, we need music. I feel good, da, 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 da. All right, I feel like I'm in my aerobics class now. So come back to the middle and pause. Roll your shoulders. Find mountain pose, right? Everything nice and strong. Now, you're gonna take your left leg or right leg if you wanna mirror me, you're gonna take your left leg, step it out, but instead of touching, try to keep lifted. And then come to the middle. You're gonna have to slow down, right? Right leg out, step up, back to the middle. There you go. So do it at your pace. Don't follow mine. Middle, step out, lift up, middle, left, whoo, middle. One more, out, middle, and pause. Right, how did that feel, right? We're transitioning. Good, final one here. We had a little comment over here. I won't repeat it. All right, so we're gonna do one more level. You can stay with the first one, second one, or this time when you go to the left, woo, that was ugly, right? Keep and hold the position instead of stepping right back out again. And then step to the middle and come center. Go to the right, lift up, find the hold. Middle, center, left, woo, find it, middle, and right. Lift up, woo, that was a, right? So I didn't have my balance, so what did I do? I just tapped down. Middle, left, woo, and middle, and right. Here we go, last one right here. And middle, and release, and shake it out. So notice, right, what you're feeling. If you have a lot of knee stuff, those are really tricky things to do. Got one more here just to drive the point home, because you know me, I like to drive these points home, right, Betty? We did this on Wednesday. You're at the front of your mat, your hands are to your hips. Your belly is toned up, right? Bend both knees. All you're gonna do is step back with your right leg. Make sure your legs are wide enough. You don't have to go this far, right? You can tap back here, wherever you feel it, and then forward. You're gonna do same thing, same side 5 times. Step back, both knees soft, and forward. This is 3, go slow. And forward. Where are you moving from, everybody? 4, push into that standing leg, and 5, and pause. Good. Other side. I'm just taking myself away from the wall a little bit. So mountain pose always to start. Hands are to your hips. Soften both knees. Step back and forward. Step back. You got it. And forward. Why do I feel like I'm on the same side? Back and forward and back. Whew. And forward. Last one. Back and forward. And then turn yourself around. For me, it's easy to be forward and step back. For me, not so easy to be back and step forward. Again, don't worry about how far out you step. Just worry about what's happening here, right? All through your torso, all through your hips. So hands are to your hips. Remember, right? We're not looking down here, we're looking out there. We're looking where we want to step. Soften the knees, left leg first, or whichever one you choose. Step forward, left leg. Push off and come back. And 3. That's actually 3. And back. And 4. And 5. Right? Woo-hoo! All right, other side. Here we go, soft knees. If you start from locked knees, you don't have the flexibility, in my mind, that you need. So the knees are soft, belly's toned, look where you want to go. Step forward and back. And forward. And back. And forward. Woo! And back. This is 4. Oh, back. And 5. Push off and back. Shake it out. Shake, shake, shake. All right, last one here, and one we have not done. Some of you have never done this with me. I know my 2 gals here have. You're gonna, and Betty's famous for this one. You're gonna be at the back of your mat. You can be off your mat, heel to toe, but you're not looking at your feet. You're looking forward. Woo, you're on a tightrope. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Yep. Keep it going until you get to the top of your mat. Pause. Squeeze those legs together. Breathe. And reverse. Don't look down. Kind of look forward and down if that makes sense to you. And breathe. I know. Whew. Back and back and back. Squeeze the legs together. Right? This tightrope walking, right? When everything is in the middle is so good for your balance. All right, one more set. Here we go. Bring it forward. Keep it heel toe. Woo. And you don't have to keep your hands on your hips. You can use those arms much like a tightrope walker would. Squeeze the legs together, right? To find your balance. Squeeze the hips. There's been many articles recently about balance. And one of the things that they say is that as we get older, the first thing to go, and I think Martin may have told me this too, first thing to go is balance, right? And when we lose balance, we fall. When we fall, we have a chance of breaking something. We don't want any of that nonsense. So we're going to find it. Good. Release, shake it out. Well done, everybody. Shake it out. And then let's come into a true yoga balance pose. Let's do a simple one, tree pose. So pick your side, pick your leg. Bring yourself into your tree pose, right? So you know, everybody out there knows tree pose by now. Your standing leg squeezes in. You try to stay in the 4 corners of your feet. Your the leg that is up can be up at thigh, or it can be above or below your knee. Could be big toe to the floor. Squeeze your belly. Take the arms up optionally. Another option, of course, right? One finger to a wall, right? Whew, breathe. Woo again. Okay, so Try to stay centered. Squeeze the heck out of your standing leg and then start to move the arms. What is this doing, right? This is throwing off our balance. Don't have to go big. There's a storm coming, everybody. Breathe. Woo, right? What happens? Everything's got to work. Bring your hands to your heart. So balance is not just about the glutes and the hips or even the thighs. It's all the small muscles. It's all of those proprioception muscles that keep us standing upright. Good. Release that side if you haven't already. Shake it out. We all have one side that keeps us paying attention more than the others. That's one way to say it, right? For me, it's my left side, not usually as strong balance-wise as my right. So find your tree pose. Always better if your hands are to your heart from a balance standpoint, always off your mat from a balance standpoint. Really pay attention to your standing leg. Take the arms up. Remember, you're not looking straight down, you're looking straight out toward the floor, but out in front of you. And then same thing, just move. Try to move the arms and breathe. Woo. Let the ankles get strong. Let those muscles of the shin and the calf get stronger. The feet, right? As we lean one side or the other, getting stronger. Woo. And hands to heart. And release, let go. Shake it out. And then just take the top of one foot and press into the top edge. Stretch the front of the ankle, the front of the toes. Big deep breath. And then same foot, curl the toes or come onto the toes themselves. Bend your knees and stretch the whole back of those toes, back of those feet. Remember, pain is optional here, right? Actually, it's not optional. Pain is really not a good thing. Just do what you can and release it. Go to the other side, flip over. This is one we don't do a lot. We do a lot of flexing. We don't do a lot of stretching of the front ankle. Just breathe. And then flip the toes, sink down, stretch them out. And release. And then final one here, I want you to scrunch your toes under as if you were scrunching a washcloth underneath. Whew. Breathe. And release it. Woo. There's some feet. All right, come on back to the front of your mat, everybody. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, come on down. Soften the knees, step back, downward facing dog. Just pedal out your feet, just stretch them out. Take the feet wider on your mat, bend your knees, don't let them curl in, just keep them lined up with your feet and press nice and strong through your front body. That's it, just breathe. And then lower your knees to the floor. Come on down to your elbows, lordy, lordy. Press into your hands, press into your wrists, press into your forearms, either half plank or full plank on elbows. Big deep breath. You got this, everybody. Breathe, core work, so important to balance, right? We know this. Keep pulling your belly away from the floor. It's as if you could not lower that belly even if you wanted to. Just keep it pressing away from the floor. That's it. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Lower your knees. Release. Grab one block. You're going to take the block to the middle of your mat because at the end of the day, core isn't strong, your balance is going to be wonky because this is where we move from, right? All right. Again, we did this Wednesday. So be mindful. You're going to lay on the block so that that block is sitting right at your hip level, right? Right at the hip crease. Find that. You're on your elbows. Your hands are in their lace. Don't over grip, by the way. Flip your toes under. Lift your knees. Lift your hips off the block. Now, be really mindful here. Don't go crazy. You're going to dip left hip toward the block. You don't have to touch. Center, right hip. Center, we should have used 2 blocks. And side, center, side, center, side. Yep. And side. Come on. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Center, release. Shake out those feet. Good. We're almost done, I promise. Take that same block, move it up to the chest level. I know. Welcome back, Judy. Your hands are in front of you. Elbows train in. Let's do some push-ups. You can bend your knees. You can cross your ankles. I like that. So difference between chaturanga push-ups and regular, the elbows go out. Chaturanga, the elbows go back. Here we go. Let's see if we can do 5, right? Tone the belly. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And press back. You don't have to go that fast. 1, keep your block. 2, release your block. Just because we had so much fun with that 5, we should do 5 more. Just because. I would hate to deprive you of this much fun. All right, here we go, everybody. And 1, 2, 3, your pace. 4, woo, and 5. And release. Oh, lovely, lovely. You're going to come onto your backs, but you're going to grab 1 block, take with you. And then just lay down on your mat for a moment. Roll the shoulders down. Just chill for a second here. Grab your block and place it under your sacrum. Listen up. You're either going flat, or second level, depending on your back, especially your lower back, right? Any back tweakiness, you gotta stay low. You should feel that block right underneath those front hip points, right? Solidly on your sacrum. The shoulders soften back. You don't have anything under your head, right? Because you don't want to mess up your neck here with a blanket or something under your head. Shoulders are down. Bring your right knee to your chest. Keep the right knee there. You don't have to hold it. And straighten your left leg down toward the floor. And just breathe. So many of you may be feeling just a nice little stretch through the front of your left hip. If your left leg is the one that's long, you're feeling a stretch through the belly, through the hip, right? That psoas muscle. We work that baby pretty hard. So we just want to get a little stretch here. Try to relax the left leg. I tend to flex here and tighten, but just relax it. Just let it stretch. Optionally, you can take your left arm over your head. Your right arm is relaxed. I've got my right hand just resting on my belly. Take a deep breath in and soft exhale through your mouth. Good, deep breath in. And soft exhale. One more. And an exhale. Good. You're going to keep your right knee bent in toward chest, and then just bend your left knee and place that foot on the floor and breathe. Bring the left knee in, careful, especially if you're on a higher block. Release your left arm if it's still overhead. Put your left knee to your chest and straighten your right leg along the floor. I love this pose. It's very soothing for me for some reason, and it just feels good to get into that super deep core muscle. You know, when you think about certain muscles that really support the body, psoas is one of them for sure. Big deep breath. The very tip fibers of the psoas are intertwined with the diaphragm. And so as we take a deep breath in and out, we stretch that psoas even more. Optionally, if you want, just take the right arm overhead, make this nice long line on the right side. Good. One more nice breath right here. And keep the left knee in, bend the right, put the right foot on the floor. Release your right arm. Now, if you're up at that second level on your blocks, maybe your hands kind of wrap around the block to support it. Both knees up, and then both knees up to the ceiling. If your block is flat on the floor, you don't have issues with this block tipping. If it's up at that second level, sometimes the hips can pop it out of place. So just kind of support it. Feet up, right? Head, neck, really comfortable here. Super easy inversion. Just let your legs hover wherever they can so that they don't feel like they're doing a lot of work. You can always bend the knees if you need to. Feel your belly. Feel your breath. Start to feel your whole nervous system calming down. Your whole body starting to come back to center after this little balance workout. You can always do this up the wall, by the way, without a block. Such a good pose for your body. Good. Wherever you are, bend both knees. One foot to the floor at a time. Want you to pause here, restorative bridge pose. Breathe. And then press strongly into both feet. Lift your hips. Take the block out. Don't lower immediately. Just hold for a second. See if you can hold that bridge pose. And then from the top of your vertebra all the way down to your tailbone, lower down. Good. Take your feet wide on your mat. Windshield wiper your legs. The next time your knees are over to the right, pause. Take the arms out to cactus pose. Maybe glance over at your left shoulder. Feel the left knee press away from you, not down, but away from you. Use your breath. Good. Take the knees to center. Pause for a moment. Let both knees go to your left. Maybe take the gaze to the right. Feel the right knee press away. Feel that nice, sweet breath. And release that twist. Your knees come back to center. Bring both knees to your chest. Grab your ankles, your feet, or your shins. Come into happy baby. Try to keep the sacrum planted so you're not over rounding your back. In happy baby, the soles of the feet are straight, I guess straight up and down or straight side to side, as if you were stepping on the ceiling. Your knees come to your side body. Your shins relatively parallel with the walls. Maybe you rock a little side to side. And then release, draw both knees to your chest. Straighten one leg really, really long, right to the corner of your mat. Release the other one all the way down to the other corner of your mat. Find yourself centered on your yoga mat. Maybe the palms go face up, shoulders soft, head neutral. And let's find our Shavasana. Just breathe and soften and relax. And just notice how your body's feeling. Maybe feel the softness at the edges of your body, the softness at the edges of your heart. Just allow yourself to sink in. And once again, as we play with balance, maybe you check in about the balance in your own life. Are you working too hard or not enough? Are you moving too much or not enough? Are you eating really well or really poorly? Or are you finding that balance? And if you find yourself out of balance, do you know what it is you need to come back in, right? Because we all get out of balance. But how do we find our way back? Soften even more. As you notice those thoughts wandering, bring them back. And those of you who would like to stay in Shavasana a bit longer, go ahead and do that. Take your time here. Shavasana is awesome. So don't rush out if you're not ready. For the rest of you, go ahead and start to wiggle your toes, your fingers. Find your breath. Slowly draw the knees towards center. Bringing them in toward chest as you rock side to side, shaking out any other little creaks and crunches that are in there. And then allow the knees to roll to one side or the other. Curl all the way over to fetal pose. And very slowly, come on up to your seated pose.